What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to give you my top 10 most stylish men of the year. This is just my opinion and just a bit of fun as well. I've done it by thinking back over the year and just considering who I've just looked at, taken inspiration from, or just enjoyed the clothes that they wear. So yeah, I've got this list together. We'll run through in a second, but before we do, I'd just like to ask if you can like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. It really helps me to grow the channel and reach new audiences. So yeah, I'd be really appreciative if you can do that. But let's get into the list. So in at number 10, we've got Jacob Elordi. For me, he had to be on the list. We've talked about him a lot over the year, especially that big overcoat that he wore, which I think he done really well. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I think because it's like the oversized nature of it, the wide-legged jeans, the big boots, the proportions of it work really well. Which leads me on to why he's actually on the list, really, because for a guy of around about 6'6", he doesn't play it safe. So for a lot of guys who are that size, they tend to stick to what they know works for them. But he seems to nail every aspect of clothing. So with tailoring, I think he does it beautifully. Sometimes experiments a little bit too much with the big collars and things like that, but he's 26 years old, so you're bound to do that. On the other side of things, on the more casual side, he wears a bit of workwear, and I think he just nails each one, especially for his age, as I say. He's also a big proponent of high-waisted trousers. You know I love them, and I think he's well deserving of being on this list. So in at number 9, we've got Jerome Parker. So that's Parker with 2 R's on Instagram. And this is just a feed that I've come back to quite a lot over the last year. So I think his aesthetic as a whole is really nice. A lot of still images, which is like a dying art nowadays. And I just like the way he plays around with the casual wear and then adds little aspects of more formal stuff also. So his knitwear is always on point. He's sort of straight to wide-legged jeans. You've got paired with chore jackets, baseball caps, adds leather jackets in there as well. Just a really nice aesthetic and things I take little pieces from. It's very simple. Occasionally he puts a big bold pattern in there, but it works well with his overall colour palettes as well. The colour palettes are all very pleasing to the eye. Like they're very neutral. You've got a lot of earth tones in there. So yeah, big fan. And if you're not following him already, check him out. So in at number 8, we've got Patrick Dempsey. I've been a huge fan of his style over the last year, especially his tailoring choices. I mean, they're relatively simple, often like a normal soft-shouldered suit with a tie, but he does add little details in there. Like the other day, he was wearing a brown double-breasted blazer from Bolioli, which I really liked. Of course, it helps that he's ridiculously good-looking, and he's an advert for embracing the grey. But if you are of that age group, I think he's around about 57. When you want to get into tailoring, I think he's a great person to look at. So in at number 7, we've got A$AP Rocky. I just love the way he expresses himself with the clothes he wears. He straddles so many different genres, from like proper streetwear to tailoring and like 90s sort of Seinfeld fits. And he does it almost effortlessly. So a huge fan of his, especially when he adds tailoring into the mix. It's never just simply wearing a suit. He'll add a little piece like a cowboy boot or a western belt buckle in there. And it just works really well. So yeah, A$AP Rocky, always on a list like this, goes without saying. So number 6 is Fox Brothers owner Douglas Cordeaux. So Douglas for me is the pinnacle of perfection when it comes to wearing a suit. His looks are always immaculate. He never has to go too over the top with colours or patterns. It's always like a nice grey double-breasted suit or a navy double-breasted suit, but it's just put together beautifully. The patterns, if he wears them, are very subtle. The colour palettes are very subtle when they're put together. But it's just done so well with so much care and attention, and obviously the materials he uses are fantastic also. And again, another one that wears it so effortlessly. So yeah, absolute pinnacle of perfection when it comes to tailoring, in my opinion. And something that, while myself, I'm not looking for that perfection right now in my life. I'm a little bit younger than him. Something to aspire to, and maybe even never achieve. That nirvana that you never can achieve, but maybe the journey is the thing that you're looking for. So number 5, very different to the one before, is Jeremy Allen White. Now, he absolutely has to be on the list like this year because we've talked about him so much. For me personally, I don't think he's one of the best dressed men out there, but I think the way he wears his clothes, his particular style that he imprints no matter what he's wearing, is very important. So for instance, he's a very casual guy. He likes a lot of workwear kind of stuff, a lot of denim, a lot of overshirts. But even when he's wearing suits and tailoring, he'll do it in that way, his way. So like wearing a t-shirt and a baseball cap and some trainers with a pinstripe suit, he wears it well. Like, I mean, it's not something I would particularly do, but I think he absolutely smashes it. And I really appreciate that, and I really like it. And especially, I think he's a guy that a lot of younger men or men in their sort of 20s and 30s are looking at in terms of style inspiration. And I think it's only good for someone like him to be putting these things forward, these things like wearing tailoring and suits occasionally, as well as your more casual stuff. So having more than one way of dressing is super important in my opinion, and I think he nails that. So in at number 4, we've got Denny623. So that's Denny Balmaceda on Instagram. The guy has an amazing aesthetic. I mean, if you're just looking through his Instagram, just gives me so much joy. I don't personally wear the majority of the stuff that he would wear, but I just really appreciate the style that he has. He puts together items you never expect to go together, and he absolutely smashes it almost every time. There's so many different colors and patterns that put into one outfit that I would never advise anyone to try and do, or I would never try to do myself, and he always seems to nail it. So I absolutely love his aesthetic. The photography is fantastic on his feed as well. Just a very unique style, and an absolute must follow in my opinion. So in at number 3, we've got Pedro Vidal. So that's Studied Carelessness on Instagram. He works for Hodinkee, and I'm quite late to the party on this one. I found him quite late in the year, and I absolutely love his style. And the reason he's so high up in the list is the stuff that he wears is just right up my street. So there's a lot of tailoring in there, a lot of like casual tailoring as well. So even if it's with a shirt and a tie, it's done in like a casual way. So like a green suit with a navy knitted tie, there's a baseball cap involved, a lot of denim, a lot of chore jackets, loafers, all the stuff I absolutely love. I think the way he puts together an outfit is really considered, but also seems effortless at the same time. So big fan of his, and definitely worth a follow if you aren't already. And he's got a great stash as well. So taking the number 2 spot, it's the man himself, it's Bill Nighy. Now the man just oozes style. Often it's very simple. He wears a simple navy suit and maybe a tie, but it's the way he wears a suit. It drapes with him perfectly. He has the sizing right. The right amount of cuff is always showing. The tie is always tied perfectly. The length of his trousers, it's just always spot on. I'm a huge fan of his just style as a whole. Amazingly dressed guy, and well deserved of the number 2 spot. Okay, taking the number 1 spot for the best dressed men of 2023 is Stanley Tucci. Now, some of you may have guessed this by his absence on the list already. You know I'm a huge fan by the amount of content I've made about him. He's got a perfect balance, in my opinion, of formality. You know, he wears a suit beautifully, a lot of soft shoulders. He wears a tie beautifully. He doesn't even stick to my main thing of wearing high-waisted trousers. You know, I bang on about it all the time. He often wears mid-rise, but it doesn't matter. The overall look is what's important, and I think he absolutely nails it. His pairing of polo shirts, of knitwear, it all just really works well with his whole aesthetic. Keeps the colour palette very simple. Lots of navies, greys, earth tones. Just an immaculately dressed guy. And of course, there's the Tucci tuck as well, where he tucks pretty much everything in, even knitwear. And I've started doing it this year, and it's given me so many more outfits that I would never have had before previously, because it didn't look right with the untucked t-shirt or even a jumper. It's given me more outfits I can wear. I do it pretty much all the time now. I'm a huge fan. And that's why Stanley Tucci takes the top spot of 2023's best dressed man. But anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. Let me know who you'd add to the list or who you'd take off it. Thank you very much for watching this whole year and supporting the channel as well. I really appreciate it. I've got a lot more planned for next year, a lot more varied videos as well, a lot more content, so do stay tuned. Happy New Year to everybody, and I'll see you on the next one.